Imagine this. In the dead of night, a flurry of alarms pierced the skies over Israel. The iconic red siren, a symbol of imminent danger, is now a chilling soundtrack for millions of Israelis. Prime Minister Netanyahu, embattled and cornered, faces a threat on multiple fronts that no one could have foreseen. Iraq has just entered the Gaza conflict, launching a devastating drone attack. But the real question is, could this be the beginning of the end for Israel's regional dominance? Now let's break this down, because this isn't just another skirmish in the Middle East. This is a geopolitical earthquake. The once contained Israeli-Palestinian conflict has erupted, pulling in one of the region's most volatile players, Iraq. And this isn't just posturing, it's action. Drones, cruise missiles, and the potential escalation into all-out war. But how did we get here? The chain of events starts with a covert Israeli operation targeting Hezbollah, but not in the way you'd expect. This time it wasn't fighter jets or missile strikes, but something far more sophisticated. Israeli intelligence placed bombs inside 5,000 pagers, Taiwanese-made devices ordered by Hezbollah, detonating them with surgical precision. And that's where everything changed. This single event rippled across the region, drawing Iraq into the fray. As if overnight, Iraq began firing drones and missiles at Israel. One successful drone strike was intercepted over Bir Ora, but the message was clear. Iraq was no longer a silent player. The Iraqi Islamic Resistance Group has now claimed responsibility for these strikes, and they're not done. They've vowed to increase their attacks, standing in solidarity with Gaza. Now here's the big question. Why does Iraq's involvement make this situation more explosive than before? You see, groups like Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas have long been the region's main threats to Israel. But they've always relied heavily on arms supplied by their sponsor, Iran. The difference now? Iraq is a whole new ballgame, and their proximity to Israel makes their involvement a game changer. What does this mean for the future of the region? Why is Iraq's entry into this conflict such a dangerous turn? The answer is Iran. Iran has long funneled weapons into Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen. But those supply lines are constantly under surveillance by Israeli intelligence. They've managed to slow down or intercept many of these shipments. But Iraq? That's different. Iran shares a border with Iraq, meaning the weapons flow easily, without the same risk of interception. From there, Iraq's militias can strike Israel with much more frequency and precision than ever before. Let's talk specifics for a second. The weapon of choice for Iraq in this battle? The Shahed 136 drone, an unmanned aerial vehicle designed by Iran? This isn't your average drone. It's cheap, costing somewhere between $1,000 to $50,000, meaning it can be deployed en masse. But what makes it truly terrifying? Its warhead, capable of carrying 50 kilograms of explosive power and a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. Now imagine this. From launch points inside Iraq, these drones could strike deep into Israeli territory. That means Israel, a country that's already on high alert, now faces the prospect of a much longer, drawn-out conflict. Air raid sirens in both northern and southern Israel have become a common occurrence, heightening tensions to unprecedented levels. And it doesn't stop there. In addition to drones, Iraqi militias have also launched Howitzer cruise missiles, powerful, long-range weapons developed by Iran. Capable of hitting targets over 1,200 kilometers away with pinpoint accuracy, these missiles are a significant threat to Israel's infrastructure and military operations. Israel has responded swiftly, intercepting some of these missiles, but the situation remains volatile. And here's the thing. Every missile intercepted, every drone shot down only deepens the tension. Iraq, having been scarred by foreign interventions for decades, isn't likely to back down. If anything, this may only intensify their resolve to stand against Israel. And then there's the wild card, Iraq's newfound military strength. One of their most powerful assets? The Bayraktar TB2 drone, a Turkish-made drone with an impressive track record in conflict zones like Ukraine, Libya, and Syria. This drone is not only agile and capable of flying for 27 hours non-stop, but it's armed to the teeth. Equipped with laser-guided rockets, anti-tank missiles, and advanced surveillance systems, This drone is more than capable of dealing serious damage in long-range reconnaissance missions. In fact, Iraq isn't the only country impressed by this drone's capabilities. 23 other nations, including Ukraine and the UAE, have added it to their arsenals. With the TB2, Iraq could push this conflict even further, extending its reach deep into Israeli airspace and military zones. So, where does this leave us? This conflict, which many had hoped was containable, is now evolving into something far bigger. Iraq's entry has introduced new challenges, new threats, and new weapons into the fray. And while Israel has maintained its ability to intercept attacks for now, the longer this conflict stretches on, the more pressure it will face. It's a war of attrition, and with Iran backing Iraq's militias, the attacks could become more frequent, more deadly, and more precise. Netanyahu is cornered. Israel is surrounded by enemies, from Hezbollah to Hamas, from the Houthis to Iraq. The constant sirens blare across the country, a reminder that danger could strike at any moment. Israel's military may be formidable, but can it handle the growing storm on all fronts? The next few days will be crucial. Will Iraq's strikes continue? Will Iran ramp up its support, flooding the region with even more weapons? And how will Israel respond? As the Middle East becomes a powder keg, one thing is certain: this conflict is far from over. We'll be watching, we'll be listening, and we'll be here to bring you the latest updates as this situation develops. Stay tuned. The story isn't finished yet.